The following Degrassi video contains subject matter that is not suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Hey there, hello there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to another Degrassi video on this Tuesday, June the 2nd, 2020. So anyway, this video basically is due to the fact that North America is going through one of the worst periods right now with COVID-19, and now this whole issue about police brutality and all that on blacks. So basically, I made a post on Reddit 11 days ago. This was before this whole George Floyd situation. I said I wanted to reimagine Frankie's racist situation. Now, if you haven't realized, if you don't know what I'm talking about, is that in season 2 of Next Class, or season 16 overall of Degrassi, I said that Frankie had a storyline in season 2 of following a racist poster in the Black Lives Matter situation and how her character got attacked. In the way that some people made it more about Frankie's upbringing than the whole racism matter. Would Frankie's storyline have been the same or different if Frankie was just a normal teen and not seemed to be privileged, coming from a rich family and all that, and the daughter of a craptacular mayor? Harold said, I think so. The main takeaway of the storyline was that she was being defensive and unwilling to see from the black girl's perspective on why her drawing, even if it was unintentional, was based in historical and systematic racism. Instead of listening and learning, she put up a wall. That response to racism and being called racist is not singular to rich folks, but it certainly made the line more interesting since it created a public image. And I totally agree. I think that basically, Frankie made mistakes that basically she put up a wall. She didn't want to listen and learn, and basically she got kicked off the volleyball team by her teammates. I thought that the school kicked her out, but I guess the students, I think the students kicked her out of the team. So basically she tries to fix the situation, but fails miserably. It was just her bad apologies. It wasn't the fact that she was being racist. I don't think she was intentionally being racist. It would have been unintentional. And she was right saying that the school was known as the Sioux, so you draw them as Sioux animals. But unfortunately, a couple of the key players were black and drawn as gorillas, and unfortunately, that is terrible in the black culture. Livy and Grace said that it was more interesting Shay having to learn why what Frankie painted was insensitive, since it highlighted generational gaps of understanding as well. I thought Shay had an inkling about the poster being terrible, and that's why she didn't want to take part in the whole poster thing about Northern Tech. Now, I know that the poster was in response to basically Northern Tech holding a fire alarm and forcing the Degrassi students to run out of school, not fully clothed and all that. But I mean, like Famp said, Famp did a thing yesterday about the whole racism situation, like the Frankie racist thing. And basically it's like, where were the administrative things and all that? Why didn't Northern Tech do some administrative stuff? Well, Degrassi possibly too, but I mean, Snake got in a lot of trouble. Snake got a lot of hatred because of what he did to Tiny after Tiny was defending Shay from the racist situation. And basically saying that, why does Tiny get a suspension and Frankie basically doesn't get in trouble for the whole racist situation? And Snake did say that Frankie's off the volleyball team. That's what matters. They said that she didn't get detention, she didn't, all that. I think that most people were making it about the racist situation and not wanting to forgive Frankie and all that. Throwback Thursday ended up being a terrible episode for the fact that basically everyone decided that they needed to get Frankie back for everything. And basically they projected an image on her. Well, she was going to sing the Degrassi school song because Maya actually couldn't because her vocal cords were terrible. And then they said white privilege. So basically, they just made it about Frankie. Now, of course, the question is on everyone's mind. Would they have done the same crap if it was another student, a normal student, not one that comes from privilege, like the Hollingsworths? That's hard to say because, what if, like, Lola for some reason, or maybe some random girl, like a girl named Casey or whatever. Someone said that it would have been different because of the privilege. People tend to be nicer to poor and middle class people in this kind of situation. So basically, I guess what they're saying is that basically, if Frankie was just a normal teenager, like poor or middle class, basically maybe she might get more sympathy. I completely doubt that in a sense, but yeah. She couldn't apologize to save her life and all that. So yeah, that's the thing. And it's not like Degrassi has been clean with minority characters. I mean, there have been some great minority characters. Ginny was a great character. Ashley was great, even though that some people tended to hate on her because of her actions with taking ecstasy and all that. I don't know why. The pure hatred. I mean, Ashley turned golf. Okay, Ashley turned golf because she felt her friends were basically betraying her. She wanted to basically do something that she thought was proper. And she got mad about Craig dating her and Manny at the same time and lashed out and said basically Craig got Manny pregnant for the whole school. I mean, I get it. Ashley was pissed off that Craig would cheat on her and get that girl pregnant also. I mean, Ashley had a point. I like that. And Ashley basically wanted to move away from school. I think she took things a little too harshly, saying that, I don't want to be in a school that basically has these issues. Thankfully, though, Ashley doesn't move away from Degrassi. Basically, Spinner, Paige, and a few other people showed Ashley when they skipped school that basically things happen for a reason. And Ashley's happy. No, yeah. Like, Ashley in season 4, it was like, well, what's her character like? I mean, she wasn't completely involved in the whole Rick Murray situation. And, she didn't make an impact until, the aftermath when she said, what type of psycho would do this to Jimmy and all that? And Toby was upset because, her stepbrother was Rick's only friend, if you will. Rick obviously would, if he was alive, said that he had more friends than what people think he did. But anyway, Ashley hooked up with Craig. Craig showed devotion to Ashley, a little too much devotion in a sense that he was being bipolar and basically wanted to marry Ashley. Craig wanted to be happy. Sadly, though, it worked against Craig. Ashley did stick by Craig for his bipolar problems, but then she moves to England and finds a boyfriend. Craig goes off the rails. She comes back in season 6. It's like, why did you come back? I guess because there was some animosity and maybe the writers thought that she and Jimmy would hook up again and basically, things would be different. Didn't really work out that way. Well, as I said, Jimmy was a great character. He was basically the snarky jock who basically didn't care about a lot of people and all that. His behavior was kind of appalling to some people, but I doubt it. I personally think that Jimmy was a decent character and all that. And his home life was weird. Hey, he came from a mixed family. Jimmy did. His mom was white and his dad was black. Cool. So anyway, Jimmy basically, was around. Jimmy was torturing Rick alongside Spinner, Jay, Alex, and a few other people. And then Jimmy switched sides because Rick convinced him that basically he's being tortured and practically Toby's going to be tortured too because Toby is Rick's friend. So basically Toby, because of how Toby's perceived to be, Rick basically tells Jimmy a lot of things. Jimmy switches sides and that pisses off Spinner, Jay, and Alex. There's no bones about it. I mean, that's an unpopular opinion I'm probably going to say about the Rick Murray situation, is that basically Spinner Page, not Spinner, did I say Spinner Page and Alex? I'm sorry, it's supposed to be Spinner Jay and Alex. Oh, crap, I thought I said Page. Regardless, so anyway, yeah, and Jimmy got shot because Rick believed the BS that Spinner and Jay were putting out there, probably to save their own hides. Well, it wouldn't have happened that way if Spinner hadn't confessed everything to Jimmy. It was Spinner's fault. I mean, he should have just kept quiet about the whole situation. He should have said it was funny, blah, 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 and not say anything about his involvement. Because then maybe they don't tell Rick about this situation. But anyway, I'll get more into that when unpopular opinions happen. So regardless of what ends up happening, Jimmy, and we thought Jimmy died, but thankfully not. Jimmy is just paralyzed. He's in the hospital, people visit him, try to take him to a concert, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden he's back at Degrassi. You know, Spinner had the guilt that he had inadvertently got his friend shot. Like, you know, I mean, not to be on Spinner's side, but Spinner basically didn't know that Rick carried a gun. If he knew that Rick carried a gun at the time, he would have been like, wait a minute, Rick might have a gun and Rick might shoot Jimmy. Jay probably would have said something stupid, but anyway. Yeah, Jimmy says basically his life is shattered and all that. I mean, I don't know why he's saying these things. I'm hoping he would get better and all that. But I guess being in the hospital all by himself, he just thought bad things happened. And I can't believe he would say that. I just wish Rick had better aim and ended it. I guess Jimmy basically saw himself as a jock and didn't see himself as something else. But he got into the music industry. His dad was not really too happy about it. I think his dad really relied on Jimmy being a jock and being a good basketball player. And the worst part is Jimmy basically was upset because his dad had infidelities with his secretary. And basically Jimmy used that card to get what he wanted because he knew that his dad would be upset if he told his mom. Jimmy told his mom about the dad's infidelities. So anyway, Jimmy became a decent character. He got in a relationship with Trina, who also had an accident that she's a little bit paralyzed in a sense, and basically they get together. I wish that Jimmy had a better happy ending, but you know, it happens. And how the hell were we supposed to know that Aubrey Graham was going to be Drake in an international rap star? Jeez. So anyway, yeah. What about Hazel though? Hazel was a decent character, but Hazel only got one major plot line. I know she was a minor character and all that, and she was the first minor character to get a major plot line. That was when she basically has her issues with who she really was. She portrays herself as being Jamaican when in fact she's Somalian. And basically an incident at International Day at the school makes her rethink everything. And basically she has to realize that she should be who she is. And she tells about Somalia. And basically the students don't get mad at her. They applaud her presentation in Simpson's class. I just wish Hazel was done better. I know that Andrea Lewis said that basically she had ideas, but the writers shot her down or something. And there was some bad blood between the writers and all that. I just called it a generational gap thing. So yeah, I mean, like, when you look at it, like Liberty was black. And Liberty, you know, she was done a little dirty, but she was also a decent character. I thought she was good. I mean, like Liberty basically, she wasn't like an A-type person, but basically she was just like an overachiever in a sense. And that she basically put her nose into schoolwork and all that. I mean, there were some human sides to her. I mean, like her feeling terrible after there was a rumor spread in season 1 about Mr. Armstrong and her. I mean, Mr. Armstrong was there for a long time in the Degrassi canon. I think he was there at the end. But anyway, yeah. He was great. He was great and all that still too. I mean, like Liberty was upset with that rumor, but Emma misunderstood a simple gesture from Armstrong to help Liberty with her math and all that. And of course, Emma didn't realize that, you know, Liberty had troubles with math and all that. She thought that Liberty was just a brain and all that. And then season 2, Liberty basically tries to get Emma to get rid of her science fair project. championship saying that Mr. Simpson was fair. It was unfair biased. And of course, Manny basically says, Emma, don't listen to her. She's just petty over losing to you. And then basically Liberty said that basically I dealt with vicious rumors and all of that. You don't want that happening to you. I mean, like, yeah, Liberty was a poor sport, but Emma, I think, was thinking about getting rid of the first place trophy before Liberty said anything about her. But, Emma learned that Snake had no hand in helping Emma win the competition, so that means Emma won on her own merit. The judges were good. So practically, yeah, like Liberty, Liberty was okay and all that. She had a few decent relationships, and then she basically cuts Emma out of her life in season 4 because of Emma trying to ruin her relationship with Chris. I mean, rightfully so, but I mean, like, do I blame Liberty for that? No. Emma screwed things up. It was her fault. Like, Liberty did make up with Emma after that. I mean, she kept Emma on the drama club when they were doing Dracula. I think Liberty didn't want to be as petty as Emma was. And then, season 5, we find out she's pregnant through JT and all that. I liked Gibberty. It was a great thing. I liked the fact that she basically connected with JT on a personal level, and all that. But a lot of people said that she was being unreasonable with JT and all that. It's like, she's putting pressure on JT to help with the baby and all that. What is she doing? And people said, oh, she could have got a job herself, and then basically, things would have been much better. Liberty was hiding pregnancy from her parents because obviously her parents would not approve of her and all that. I feel her personality was basically taught by her parents. I think her parents basically installed these things about her. And worst of all, after Liberty gets postpartum, after getting rid of her baby, putting the baby up for adoption, and a couple in Seattle took him, that basically they said on a test, how come everything was blank? This is 30% of your mark. And Liberty can't understand it. She's like, I tried and all that. And they basically said that, this is 30% of your mark. How could you do this to us? Basically, that they were of no help to Liberty whatsoever. And to Danny, in a sense. Like, I thought they were scum. Like, but, I mean, Liberty's dad did help get JT out of trouble. I think JT did get in trouble somehow, but not as bad as he would have been. And, I mean, Liberty's dad did get Peter emancipated after his mom wanted to leave for Saskatchewan to deal with her ailing mother, and his dad didn't want to deal with Peter, even though Peter said that he'll be a good person. But I think Peter's dad paid for the apartments just so that, he can help Peter in some kind of sense. Yeah, I really didn't like Liberty's parents and all that for being so bossy and pushy and all that. And, Liberty had no emotions. She was upset when JT was with Mia. I don't know why. She's the one who pushed him away from her. And basically, she's like jealous and all that. I guess she realized that JT was willing to do everything he can to be a father, and she misunderstood him. So basically, she finds JT with the aorta puncture in his back, and they're saying, somebody help! That primal scream was terrible. And she finally showed emotion. I mean, geez, she's not a robot. So yeah, so Liberty basically does all that. She has to deal with Lakehurst coming in season 7. And so she gets a relationship with Damien. She ends up stealing Damien from Emma, but Emma doesn't blame Liberty. She blames Damien because Damien's the scumbag, not Liberty. So anyway, yeah, Liberty goes to Smithdale with Emma and Manny, and then she goes to a sorority, but the sorority only wants her because she's black, and she's a token black. So she ends up going to pre-law in another school and basically leaving Emma high and dry, and Emma's upset over that. I don't know why. But Emma was just being human, I guess. Like, Damien, did they do him dirty? In a sense they did, because Damien basically was portrayed as nothing but scum towards Manny, Emma, and Liberty. Like Liberty's brother Danny, I think they did him okay. I mean, I know Derek portrayed Danny, but that was Derek's fault, not Danny's. What other black characters? Connor, did they do him right? I think so. I think the issue with Connor's character is basically due to his condition, not his color. Rather, I know they did a systematic thing with racism with blacks with like Dallas and Connor and a few other black characters like Dave, I think. They did something like that, what, 13 or 14? I think it was. But yeah, season 13 or 14. And like Shantae, did they do her right? I think she did okay. What about, who else was it? Like Towers, Chris, they did them bad. What about Shay? Did they do her right? I think so. I think Shay did okay. I think they portrayed Shay in a good light. And, the Black Lives Matter situation and all that really made her shine in a sense. I mean, a lot of people had it in for Simpson. Not just because, they're saying, oh, Frankie got away with a lot because of the racist poster. But basically, they also were mad at Simpson because of Tiny getting a suspension for protecting Shay. I mean, Simpson completely missed the point, and basically they were mad at him. They weren't all mad at Frankie. I think Simpson, they had hatred. And, I posed a question to Fam on their thing, yesterday, and said, do you think that Tristan being a jerk was because of Simpson? And she's like, and they're like, no, I doubt it. But I think Simpson had to learn that basically his behavior was terrible. And they just wanted to talk about it. And so Simpson caves. Good for him. So anyway, yeah. Yeah, did they do black characters right? I think so. Like, I think it was more so towards the end of the Degrassi life cycle than the start. But I mean, yeah, times change. Times change. They change too, in a sense. But, it's not just blacks or minorities in Degrassi. It's like people from different cultures. Kendra was a decent character. She was Chinese and all that. And, there were no stereotypes about Kendra and all that. She liked manga, so did Toby. But anyway, she would have been great. But allegedly the story goes that there was supposed to be some kind of pregnancy scare storyline with her and Toby. And the actress who played Kendra, her parents basically pulled her out of the show. And basically was like, where's Kendra? We didn't see her a lot in season 3. And then by season 4, she's gone. No mention of her by Spinner or by anybody. Just pathetic. Chester, I know, was in season 4. He was only in like a few episodes, and then basically, poof, he's gone too. I guess they thought Chester was going nowhere. Chester being Japanese. They brought Ali and Sav from an Indian Muslim family, and basically how, the double standard in that family is that Sav gets away with a lot more than Ali does. And, Ali running away, it finally led to things. And Sav actually ended up realizing that Ali was right about most things, that basically her parents were ignorant. Their parents were ignorant a lot. So basically, he took it upon himself to defend her. And basically, Sav's dad broke down saying that when you have kids, I hope you understand about the pressures of being a parent and all that. And then, they go to family therapy and they become better people in a sense. Like Sav's storyline with this, that was terrible about Sav. And Ali being a slut, if you will. Slut-shamed, even though she wasn't really a slut. She was just trying to find her place in Degrassi. But Ali buckled down, so did Sav, so all good. So then you got yourself, let's see, other cultures, like Hazel, well, and then they brought a lot of Muslim the Syrians, in season 3 of Next Class. They brought in a whole load of Syrians and all that, and it caused a little bit of friction within the Next Class universe. But basically, they came their old stuff. Goldie basically was part of a power couple with Winston. Rasha had a relationship with Zoe, power couple in that sense. But I mean, Syed basically was not too happy about being profiled. Basically, there was a bomb threat at the Degrassi prom and all that. And they automatically assumed it was him. And they basically found some stuff on his computer. But it wasn't what people thought. And he wanted to move to Montreal because, Toronto police were being terrible to him. But Lola says, you should stay. There's a good reason why you should stay. I know that the other one, Bias, was part of the group with Hunter's friends, and basically they decide to pick on Hunter after being with Yale, after Yale became non-binary, saying that, well, what would Hunter be? I mean, they were no help whatsoever. Hunter is straight. So what? Big deal. He dumped Yale because, Yale didn't give him a straight answer. If Yale identified as a guy, would Hunter still been with Yale? If Yale was a girl, would Hunter still be with him? I think so. You never know. Things don't help matters. Anyway, so that's all I've got to say about the Degrassi racism situation. What is Degrassi racist? No. Definitely not. I doubt it. They did terrible with giving them the storylines, but it wasn't like racist. I don't think it was any prejudice because of their color. It's just that minor characters don't get a lot of storylines. Basically, they want to focus on the major people that they thought mattered. So, a lot of white characters got bit too, like Wesley and all them. But yeah, they did those guys just as dirty as any other person because it was the minor characters that were done dirty, and that was not right. It's not minority characters, it's just minor characters compared to Emma, Claire, Maya, and all them. So anyway, thanks for watching, and hopefully this whole thing can be resolved within reason, noble time.